And there was another great question, too, or point. I think it might have been the same congressman about the fact that the Fed was debasing the dollar, right? Destroying the dollar, printing too many dollars. And Powell came back and said, no, that's not happening. And so what he said was, once upon a time in ancient history, the supply of money did have some effect on the value of the dollar, meaning if money supply was really growing, the dollar would lose value. But he said that's not the case anymore. He said there's no longer a relationship between the quantity of money and the value of money, meaning we can print as much money as we want and the money itself is not going to lose value, which is ridiculous. I mean, so according to Powell, the law of supply and demand no longer applies, right? We can supply as many dollars as we want and the price of the dollar is not going to fall. I mean, that is absurd on its face. Meanwhile, prices are going up. I mean, how can he not see that? And the dollar is going down. Now, has the dollar crashed yet? No, not yet. Now, I agree with Powell to an extent that we have been able to get away with printing a lot of money in recent years, and that printed money has not caused an even bigger increase in prices or an even bigger drop of the dollar because of the incorrect perception of the dollar as a safe haven, because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. And so we've been given a lot of slack. And so you have a lot of people around the world who have loaded up on dollars. And because the Fed was successful in conning all these dollar holders, that the short-term 0% interest rates and the bloated balance sheet were temporary, that the Fed was going to normalize interest rates and shrink its balance sheet. And that is what enabled the Fed to keep on printing money without the value of that money collapsing, because our creditors were willing to hold on to that money because they were anticipating this rate normalization, which was going to be bullish for the dollar. Well, when they realize they're waiting for Godot and they don't want to wait anymore, they're going to dump the dollar. And that's exactly what the technical picture is showing you right now. We are very, very close to the dollar basically going over the edge of a cliff. But the point is, though, that you've got the Fed, right, basically in charge of the printing press, believing, unless they're just lying, that they can inflate the money supply all they want and it's never going to result in inflation, which of course is sheer nonsense because they are creating the inflation. The only thing that's happened is we've been spared the consequences, but they haven't been eliminated. They've just been delayed, but because they were delayed, they've been exacerbated. And so the Fed sowed the wind, and now we're going to reap the whirlwind.
The Peter Schiff Show.